Something interesting that I found as I was doing research on the whole chicken with the arsenic, with the traces of arsenic that was found, and I kind of started thinking on how much is the FDA as well as government actually looking out for us in the foods we eat and the things we're given and so forth. So I just kind of want people to kind of like do their own homework and research into what goes on inside the contents of a lot of the vaccines, the vaccinations that are given to us. For example, the Tamiflu, when the whole H1N1 scare came out, I want people to actually do their homework on the contents of Tamiflu. I'm not going to get into that, um, but I just want people to be aware of the toxins and possibly carcinogens that may be going into their system when given these vaccines. And which actually is interesting because um, I don't know how many of you know this, but um, I'm not sure if this pertains to all antiperspirants, but you should check the ingredients on the back of your deodorant and make sure it does not contain any aluminum. Aluminum, see? I don't know if you can, you can't really see it. It contains aluminum. Aluminum is not good for you. It's not good for the body. So I just wanted to bring that up. Check your deodorants. Stuff that I've read also mentions how bad the fluoride in our tap water is. Anyhow, as I was saying, I started looking into how much people were in the government were actually looking out for us, and I found something really interesting. And what I found was that our current White House science czar, which is John P. Holdren, actually wrote a textbook in 1977, and it was on eco science, population, resources, and environment. And I found it to be pretty interesting to see how the person that we currently have in the White House as a science advisor is is in favor of worldwide genocide and the formation of global government. So I just, that has opened a couple of my thought patterns to function there, and I just wanted to bring it to people's attention. You have to wonder what's really going into some of these vaccines when a lot of places are giving them to you for free, or at a very minimal cost. And I find that even possibly during that time, um, any type of influenza shot, um, I don't find it to be healthy. Anyhow, I also found that it seems that our government, in conjunction with a lot of the possibly influential people, are feeding us garbage, harmful stuff such as mercury, the fluoride, the aspartame, which is artificial sugar. All that stuff is very bad for us. The high fructose corn syrup, which is found in everything, all these things end up affecting our nervous systems. It decreases our cognitive functions, impair judgment, affects our memory. Maybe that's why I'm doing all these videos, because I can't remember half the stuff. Also, the mercury found in in our fish and so forth. The fluoride is horrible. If you can't find fluoride-free toothpaste, then just try not to be swallowing any toothpaste. You want to try to avoid by avoiding mercury. Something that you may want to try to avoid. Also, the MSG, which is a monosodium glutaminate or something like that. MSG is really bad for you. It gives me headaches. There's an old saying that when you buy products in the supermarket and you look at the ingredients, if you can't read the ingredient, it's probably not good for you, because it has some weird scientific name. So if you can't read it, don't eat it. Also, a lot of them supplements, whether they're herbal supplements like Ricola, contain they're considered to be sugar free, and they contain the aspartame ingredient, which is a sweetener. You also want to check anything that says sugar free, whether it's cereal, gum, anything like that. You may want to look into it, read the ingredients. Any type of frozen foods, desserts, beverages, all the drinks, just check the ingredients. Be a little bit more conscientious of what you're putting into your body. There's an old saying, you are what you eat. So be a little bit more cautious of what you eat. But I just kind of want you to be aware on what's going into your body. And when I say that everything's made from corn, if it says corn syrup, made from corn. If you see anything with possibly like the word gum something, probably has some form of corn in it. What I want people to do their own homework on is, I want them to do some research on a company called Monsanto, and they single-handedly produce roughly about 95% of all soybeans and 80% of all corn in the US. What's interesting is that the crops grown with Monsanto's patented genes have an interesting history to it. These seeds that have been produced, they withstand an unlimited amounts of pesticides, specifically Roundup, and which is, of course, Roundup is produced by Monsanto's. And I just found it interesting that this company is not only in the business of producing the seeds that are used in the making of our foods, but also they've been involved in dealing with pesticides as well as biological research and so forth. Kind of gives me a bit of concerns, since they're dealing with genetically engineered type of foods. So what's interesting thing is that a lot of farmers use specifically Roundup, the pesticide and herbicide, to spray on their crops, since the seeds they use are from the Monsanto. Then they use the Roundup to kill the pesticides and the herbicides while their crops continue to grow, since the crops are resistant to the pesticide. What's interesting is that several studies have shown that Roundup, specifically Roundup, have been linked to increase the risk of cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, as well as miscarriages and attention deficit disorder. So I found that to be kind of interesting. Also, just keep in mind when you eat your products the amount of high fructose syrup that's in it, corn syrup. All those things are not good for you. Find alternative ways to eat something else, because at the end it's all about survival of the fittest. And that's E Speaks For You channel.